From Hollywood, time once again for Money TV. I'm Don Baillargeon. Thanks for joining us. Money TV is the program all about money and what makes it happen. Well, this week, the administration has proposed some changes to the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, or SNAP, more commonly known as the U.S. Food Stamps Program. Now, these days, most SNAP recipients aren't receiving food stamps at all, but instead receive cash benefits in the form of an electronics benefits transfer card, or EBT card, which is used pretty much like a credit or debit card were accepted. EBT card users are free to spend their benefits on pretty much whatever food items they choose. The proposed new plan, detailed in the administration's budget for fiscal year 2019, is called America's Harvest Box. It will provide over 16 million households, or about 81% of current SNAP recipients, with boxes of non-perishable food items grown by U.S. farmers in place of some of their cash benefits aid. Items that would likely be included in a government-issued food box are like grains, peanut butter, canned meat, canned fruits and vegetables, juice, and other shelf-stable products, according to the U.S. Department of Agriculture. It's been compared to the Blue Apron program, which is a home delivery service of meal kits for members who want to cook their own meals without having to shop for ingredients. There are currently more than 41 million Americans on the SNAP program. It costs the government over $5 billion per month. Now, under the proposal, America's Harvest Box could conceivably save the country more than 21% of what SNAP currently costs. That would trim the program by nearly $130 billion over the course of 10 years. Now, it didn't take long for the liberal news media to slam the plan. The LA Times, for example, called it mean and dumb, and even referred to the USDA as, get this, a tool to impoverish needy Americans. But frankly, I don't see the plan working either, much less getting past Congress, and certainly not for the reasons the media cites. My issue with the plan is putting the federal government in charge of delivering boxes of foods to low-income homes, the same federal government that can't run a profitable postal service for the past 11 years. Is not a recipe for efficient nutrition to needy families, but more likely a recipe for inefficiency, fraud, and waste. I would say that America's Harvest Box needs to go back to the drawing board. Now, here's something you don't have to worry about. It's our toll-free number, good from anywhere in the world you're watching the program, 888-259-4449, to get free information about our featured guests. When you do call, be sure and ask to be added to the subscription list of our Money TV newsletter. It is also free, as is the call, 888-259-4449, from anywhere in the world. Be sure and visit us at MoneyTV.net. Please like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter. Well, our first guests are joining us direct from Phoenix, Arizona. Two executives from Single Point Incorporated, SING is their stock symbol. Of course, the CEO, Greg Lambrecht, and the president, Will Ralston. Gentlemen, welcome to the show.
Hey, thanks for having us again, Don.
Thanks, Don.
Well, Greg, we did talk about this recently, but it's significant enough an event to revisit. Of course, I'm talking about your recent uplisting to the OTCQB.
Yeah, well, it's just been amazing. It took us a long time, and it was a lot of work. So we finally were able to get 2016 financials done. So we've moved up to the OTCQB, and I got to tell you that those orange letters look a lot better than the pink for optics, and the shareholders have really responded well. We noticed that we've already added some market makers, and we're really excited about the transparency and the new opportunities that we're going to be having being on the OTCQB.
Now, part of the requirement to move up was to add another board member, and you were able to attract a significant individual. Tell us about him.
Yeah, so, part of the OTCQB is that we had to add another independent board member, and we were able to land a gentleman by the name of Venu, and he is really, a deep technology expert and has done a very great job of leading some of the major organizations such as Amazon, VMware, and now F5 Networks in their cloud technologies. Has vast experience in setting up development teams, and one of the things that he's going to help us with and use his expertise is to help bring our blockchain solutions to life and utilize his cloud expertise so that we can really utilize that part of the technology and those relationships.
Well, Will, we have seen a lot of volatility recently in the Bitcoin and blockchain space. To what do you attribute that?
Yeah, well, I think that there's just a lot of excitement in the industry right now. There's a lot of new technologies coming out. The Lightning Network is about to go live, and some people are actually already using it. So there's a lot of trading going on, a lot of activity, a lot of new users. So that's really just led to more visibility, and we're excited to see what happens, especially coming up this weekend. You know, there's some big things happening within the blockchain industry, and we're diving in deep and have some great platforms that we're working on and very excited to launch.
Yeah, I also think it's important for our shareholders to know that you know, we're not buying Bitcoins. You know, we're not in the Bitcoin business. We're a technology company that hopefully in the near future you're going to be seeing some deals that we put together that we're providing blockchain technology for other businesses. So I just wanted to make that distinction.
Well, how are things coming along with your national ad campaign with Kevin Harrington?
Yeah, so we're about 3/4 of the way done with post-production. We're about to see the final edits. I shouldn't say the final, I should say we're about to see the second round of edits, which will lead to the final edits. And we're very excited to launch that. So once those final edits are completed and approved by us, we're going to go ahead and start buying those media placements among major news networks and start to push those out.
Yeah, and again, you know, it's important to note that we're going to allow people to use our technology and download their coins to a mobile wallet. So I can't stress enough that, you know, we're not buying Bitcoins. We're a technology company that is on the outskirts of what's going on there, whether it's blockchain or allowing people to download to their wallet. So we think we're going to be the first mover, the first company to really do a national commercial showing people how easy it is. So that's coming up in short order, and we're very excited about it.
Now, your joint venture with Smart Cannabis Corporation has been expanded. Can you give us some details?
Yeah, so we're working with them in introducing them and referring some of the relationships we have in the cannabis industry here in Arizona, specifically for their greenhouses and their smart cannabis application that we're going to eventually tie our payments into. So it's really another product essentially for Single Point that we're looking to put into and drive revenue for the company. So it's just rounding out the cannabis industry offerings that we already have.
Are acquisitions and joint ventures going to be a big part of your growth strategy this year as it was in 2017?
Yeah, they are. In fact, you know, last year, 2017, you know, we had 4 acquisitions, and those are all doing really well. They've really helped our revenue. In fact, one of them is in a position to go public, and of course, you know, we'll own shares and do quite well there. But really, I think the biggest difference in 18 is the acquisitions and joint ventures that we're going to do are just going to be on a larger scale. So we'll be increasing revenues and our footprint, not only in the cryptocurrency world, but also in the cannabis world. So we're very well funded. We're very well experienced of doing these acquisitions. So I think that the shareholders are going to see significant growth from Single Point, and this is actually just a perfect time for Single Point to be at, and you're going to be seeing some great things coming from Single Point here in 2018.
Once again, Single Point Incorporated, SING. Greg, Will, fantastic update. Thanks so much for joining us.
Go Sing.
Thanks for having us, Don.
And joining us now in studio is Matt Chipman. Matt is a spokesman for EPAZ Incorporated. EPAZ is their stock symbol. Matt, always good to see you.
Glad to be here again. Thanks for having me.
The company put out a couple of press releases this week. I want to talk about those in detail. One was earlier this week. Why don't you tell us what's going on?
Well, I just want to remind everybody, the stock symbol EPAZ, it's a very actively traded issue. They're a leading provider of blockchain, cryptocurrency, mobile apps, and they also do cloud-based business software products. So they're working on all these things. They're really right in the right place at the right time. So the press release that was announced on Tuesday What that focused on is the Android Play Store, the Google Play Store. They have been downloaded. Their mobile app called ZennaPay has been downloaded now over 23,000 times.
23.
So they're continuing that increase. I think the last week we were on, it was at 20,000. Yeah. What they have is they announced that ZennaPay is now able to work with more than one cryptocurrency. Before it was just a Bitcoin. Now they've made it available for Ethereum, and the plan is to add Litecoin and SegWit. Litecoin is something that a lot of other crypto wallets, Bitcoin wallets are adding, and it saves money for the merchant. ZennaPay is also projecting they're working on a merchant app where they're going to make their cost down to $99 a year for merchants to use the app.
Really?
Yeah.
So instead of a per transaction charge, it's going to be a volume charge over the course of the year.
It'll be a point of sale situation where the merchant is only billed to use that particular app once a year.
I can see merchants lining up for that kind of a deal. That's a great deal.
The whole business is to cut costs for businesses, and when you have a platform like this that really cuts costs, it makes it easier for people and another way to pay for items without carrying your wallet around. Yeah. It makes it's definitely a benefit.
And it would work in a similar fashion to what we've seen like with Apple Pay and things like in Starbucks. You just hold your phone up to the scanner and it pays, but this time it's using cryptocurrency.
Yeah, and the updated start screen will let you know how much Bitcoin and how much Ethereum you have in your wallet at the time, and it eventually when they combine the merchant with the merchant app, yes, you can just flash your phone and boom, you have a secure transaction.
Well, it's amazing to see how quickly the cryptocurrency is being adopted by merchants. You're seeing it being accepted more and more places every day.
It is definitely the wave of the future. I mean, I know that some people are confused by the number of cryptocurrencies that are coming out and the fluctuations. I think this company is not so much interested in the fluctuations. Obviously, I think they would like to see more stability and more safety to the fluctuation in the currency. But there is a lot of frustration of dealing with banks, credit card processing fees. And some people that don't have access to bank accounts. Yeah.
But the EPAZ company is not really affected by those fluctuations because you're just a merchant pay situation.
We're a blockchain technology software company, cloud-based business solutions, which, exactly what came out, announced Thursday, February 15th, is an example of that.
Tell us about that press release.
That press release focuses on a smart software technology for legal contracts.
Really?
So what it's doing is every step of the way of a legal contract, it makes sure through their blockchain technology and securing data that goes into the contract, making sure that the contract is enforced and it's enforceable and that it has steps that both sides work with. So what the company will do, they came out with the name of it today. It's called Cordtell, and that's Cordtell. And you can go to cordtell.com to see a little bit more about the naming and the contract that's being put together. There's going to be patent pending applications submitted to secure that, and a lot of it will be announced later on this year.
We're almost out of time, Matt, but you and I have known each other for a number of years. You've been on this program many times. It seems like this blockchain situation is kind of the internet of the 21st century.
Yes, it really is, and it's ensuring that things are done safely, securely, and people follow through on what they say they're going to do.
Once again, EPAZ Incorporated, EPAZ is their stock symbol. Great update, Matt. Thanks so much.
Thanks for having me on.
Does this sound familiar? Turned down for a mortgage? Credit card interest over 20%? Didn't get the job you wanted? The problem is your credit score. Unsure what your credit score is? Call the Advocacy Network, 321-947-3220. Talk to Carl. He can help you regain your financial independence. Change your life today. 321-947-3220. Talk to Carl.
Have you heard the news? There's only one flat-fee news distribution network on the market. It's called AccessWire, and it's exclusively from Issuer Direct. Any day, anytime, the Access Wire News Network can deliver your press release to more than 1,500 media outlets in 98 countries. Access Wire also delivers real-time engagement analytics. You will learn who read and shared your press release and more. Best news of all, getting started is easy. Visit accesswire.com and extend your company's news reach today.
Hi, we're back. Thanks for staying with us. And joining the phone now by Don Smith. He's Executive Vice President of Smart Cannabis Corporation. SCNA is their stock symbol. Don, welcome back to the program.
Hi, Don. Glad to be here.
Well, what's new since we last spoke, Don?
Just a flurry of activity, man. Big weight off our shoulders. I just handed over our corporate financials and annual report to the attorneys and accountants for review. So even though we just did a notice of late filing, nothing to worry about. We'll have that up for our investors here and on OTC markets in just a few weeks. And now we can go back and focus on improving and growing business. We just put some news out this week with Single Point again, where we expanded our joint venture agreement that we entered into with them in December. They're now taking on an actual distribution and a sales role for us, giving us the ability to expand our sales effort for these automated greenhouse systems out in through Arizona.
You know, we did talk with them about that very subject a few moments ago in the program. They seem very excited about it. So this is really a big step for both your companies.
Yeah, it is. And as I've said in the past, John Taylor and I have been very hesitant to let any of our greenhouses go out of state or go to a place that we couldn't ensure the client's success or have one of our crews install those. So it is a big step for us. We're now, although there's adequate business for us in Northern California and Southern California, we're very excited about this. They're going to make certain commitments and bring up qualified install crews trained by us so we can properly cover the state of Arizona. And we're already negotiating with another company that's capable of covering a couple other geographies for us. So I think you'll see us start to head east with our greenhouse sales strategy here in the next 2 quarters.
So you have no concerns about quality control. You feel you've got that covered?
Feel total confidence about it. John Taylor, coming from the manufacturing background that he has completely, dialed that in. Our company, one of the complications with financials for the fourth quarter, we made a substantial amount of investment in additional manufacturing capabilities, and we're manufacturing a product that we feel confident a trained crew can put together. We still will probably not be selling kits on the internet to your average consumer, but to companies in this space, we feel very confident that we can now expand and ship those into other states and maintain the quality that we're looking for.
Well, Don, assuming that this deal is wildly successful, as I'm sure you expect, you don't anticipate having any trouble meeting demand, do you?
Absolutely not. I think I estimate our current manufacturing capacity. Everyone buys fans and switches and so forth from China, and we have several container loads en route right now. But the main product, infrastructures and electronics, and of course our smart app, all those are manufactured by Next Generation Farming and Smart Cannabis in Lincoln, California, we're proud to say. And right now, I believe our capability is to manufacture up to $500-600 million worth of greenhouses a year. In fact, we're about to introduce a new model, a gutter-connected model that will allow us to put approximately 100,000 square feet under one structure. And you'll be hearing more about that in the upcoming weeks.
Well, that's amazing. Once again, Smart Cannabis Corporation, SCNA. Don, terrific update. Thanks so much.
Thanks for the update time, Don. See you soon. Bye-bye.
And joining us in studio now is Dave Massey. Dave is the CEO of Solar Integrated Roofing Corporation. Their stock symbol's SIRC. Dave, always good to see you.
Hey, thanks so much, Don. Happy to be here.
The last time we had you on the program, you were on the phone and you were telling us how your sales team's kind of strutting around like roosters in a barnyard because you guys had a record January and you're closing in on a record February too.
We're really happy with the quarter. Our quarter ends this February. We're going to have a record quarter for sure. February started out strong. It's settling down a little bit, but I think we can make a strong finish. But what we're excited about is our fourth quarter ending with record numbers, record revenue and record profit, which is tough to do at the same time.
Well, you know, I'm getting accustomed to hearing a lot of good news from you guys, and I think there's some more. You said you have a new operations director?
We do. We hired a young man named Brian Wilson. He has a lot of experience. He has over 15 years solar experience.
Wow.
Came from a very large company locally. He's creating some systems that are going to increase efficiencies. He's going to help us scale inside the company very, very easily to be able to take on the growth that we're having with the sales. So we're really excited to have Brian on.
Now, you're also taking some efficiency measures, so to speak. You're cutting some office spaces you didn't need. Tell us about that.
You know, we had two offices in San Diego. We had a Poway office and we had a San Marcos office. With the growth that we have, we found it to be important to all be under one roof. We kind of had the sales admin on one side and production on the other. Now we're all together as one large team. Cut our overhead by almost $10,000 a month.
Wow.
Which is a big deal for us, obviously. And it brings us, the team closer together to work together. So we're excited about that as well.
Now, there was an LOI that you folks had announced being entered into, and you've kind of had a change on that. You want to fill us up to date on that?
You know, a few things has happened, and as you realize, everything's about time and money.
Of course.
And with the LOI, we thought they could add some operation skills to the side. When we hired Brian, we realized that Brian can fill that void, do some things for us. So we just took a different direction. We have some LOIs we're looking at now that I think in the first quarter, I think we could land one. But currently with Brian in place, I think it works out better.
So it turned out to be an acquisition that you really did not need because internally you're already kind of doing it.
Exactly.
Now, we had a little bit of a conversation before going on the air. You mentioned that some people who follow the solar markets were concerned about statements made by President Trump regarding tariffs. Why don't you tell us how that does or doesn't affect you?
You know, what's happened in the industry is the Chinese solar panel manufacturers have bottomed out the price in solar panels. A couple of the American-made manufacturers have trouble competing. They actually had a lawsuit. They won the lawsuit. So what they've done is they put a 30% tariff on the Chinese solar panels coming to market. So what's that done is taken the bottom out, raised the price of solar panels a little bit. The tariff is 30%. We haven't seen it. With us being a roofing solar company, our average ticket item is about $35,000. This tariff amount might be $600 added to a job site. With the finance we do, it's less than $5 a month. So
it doesn't affect you.
It affects large scales of solar plants and solar fields that they're doing, but in our case, it's no effect. And again, record numbers, which we're excited about.
You know, it's amazing to have watched how quickly the solar industry has grown, but many people don't realize it's actually been around for a couple of decades or more. You
know, we've been doing it for 12 years, and PV solar market's been around well over 25 years. So it's changed. It's a moving target. It's changing all the time. You have to keep up with it.
Yeah. What do you anticipate for the remainder of 2018 as you enter a new fiscal year? Do you anticipate more record numbers?
That's obviously the goal, Don. We have marketing in place. The changes that we're putting in place. We have another new hire we're excited to talk about probably next show.
Okay.
I think record numbers are coming for sure.
Well, it's amazing to see how things have really transformed. You've mentioned this, and you gave a lot of credit to Dave Savarese, new president, that he's changed the dynamic and the atmosphere within the building, and everybody's pretty excited that's walking around there.
We are, and the new sales team has added a lot. And we have a lot of influence from the solar market, because again, we're originally a roofing company. Dave comes strictly from solar, so we have a good balance of knowledge and expertise on both sides now. I'm kind of the roofing expert guy. Dave brought a lot of good solar knowledge, and so does Brian. So we're being more balanced, and we're ready for growth.
Once again, Solar Integrated Roofing Corporation, SIRC. Like I said, you guys always have good news. Thanks so much.
Don, thank you. My pleasure.
Joining us now over the phone is Jeffrey Lawrence. Jeffrey is the Chief Financial Officer of Players Network. Their stock symbol's PNTV. Jeffrey, welcome back to the program.
Thanks, Don. It's great to be here.
Now, I saw you folks put out a pretty exciting press release earlier this week. Why don't you tell us about it?
Yeah, sure. So, we've been working on our cultivation center, trying to get it fully built out over the past several months, and we were happy to announce that we now have a certificate of occupancy for Phase 2, which is an 8,000 square foot cultivation space. And we're also approved for the building permits for Phase 3. Unfortunately, there was some delay with getting Phase 2 going because the architectural designs between Phase 2 and Phase 3 were kind of overlapped, and so we had to wait for the building permits on Phase 3 before we could start to occupy Phase 2. So now we can start moving our marijuana plants in, and should be able to, within a few months, harvest an average of about 200 pounds a month.
Well, that's amazing. So basically, you're ready now to begin the growing and cultivation program.
Yeah, we're very excited about that. We're now, we started realizing some revenues on our marijuana operation the third quarter of last year, and that's continued to grow. And now we expect that that's going to, a couple months from now when we're at first harvest, we'll have enough to fund the entire operation moving forward.
Now, what happens in this business? Educate our viewers, if you don't mind. Once you harvest, where does the product go from harvest? What's the next step?
So as a cultivator, the way it works in Nevada and a lot of other states is that you cannot sell directly to the public, so you can only sell to a licensed dispensary. That means that, we have to develop our sales and distribution channels, and we've been doing that over the past several months. You invent the world's greatest blender, it doesn't make a lot of it doesn't really do you much good until you can get it on the shelves at Target and Walmart and Costco, et cetera. So we've been developing those relationships. Those have been growing, and our revenues have gone from, I think we were second quarter last year, we were at about $30. That went up to $30,000, and now we're in quarter 3, and now we're at about 5 times that, and we expect that to grow exponentially throughout this year.
Of course, there's significant demand for the product in Nevada, as Nevada is now both a recreational and medical state. So you don't anticipate having any problem actually selling the product?
No, actually, so Las Vegas specifically is projected to become the largest marijuana market in the world, not just in the country. And it's because we have such a high tourist volume here, about 56 million visitors a year, in addition to the 2.5 million or 2 million or so residents. So a lot of people are coming through here, and they're here for vacation, so they tend to do things here that they wouldn't do at home.
Once again, Players Network, PNTV. Jeffrey, terrific update. Congratulations on those developments. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you, Don. I appreciate it.
Take care. Okay, so now we have a Peter Rabbit controversy. We're going to talk about that and a lot more in this week's Money Wrap radio program. Find a radio station near you or listen online. Go to moneywrap.com. Call us right now, toll-free from anywhere in the world, 888-259-4449 for free information about our featured guests. When you do call, be sure and ask to be added to the subscription list of our Money TV newsletter. It is free, as is a toll-free call, 888-259-4449. Visit us at MoneyTV.net. Please like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter. That's our show this week. As always, we'll be back next week. Thanks so much for joining us.